Hey, good morning. It's Mike Zschunke at Berkshire Hathaway Homes and Shift Home Properties in Scottsdale, Arizona. Friday morning market chat with Mike. We're going to talk about residential, we're going to talk about commercial, and we're going to talk about the economy a little bit. Excuse me a second. Let's see. Residential inventory. Always start with inventory. Pretty even this week. You know, we had 4 or 5 weeks of down inventory with a lot of houses expiring and canceling for the summer. Which as I've mentioned, I don't think that's a great idea because buyers are here. Serious buyers are here. So, you know, you want to keep your options open. You want to keep it out there. And if you're not on the market, your house is not being seen. So anyway, we went to a broker open last night. A friend of ours, Eric at Berkshire Hathaway, has a listing up on the side of Black Mountain. I think it's actually Carefree, but pretty nice house, $4.8 million. If you're looking for that, we'd love to represent you. It's pretty sweet, and it's a good deal. I think it's priced well. But, you know, statistics, I've always said, they tell us where we've been, not where we're going. So, you know, when I got into this business, I always thought, well, you can't make money if you're hanging out with other brokers. But I quickly changed that. You learn, you hear what's going on. Maybe whatever your industry is in, you know, you can read the magazines and things and the news headlines, but talking with other brokers, see what's going on. There is an art to real estate, to pricing your homes and activity and things like that, and just knowing what's out there. And, you know, everybody's keeping pretty busy. It's a pretty successful crowd that I was with, and everybody's keeping pretty busy, but things are getting harder. Deals are getting harder to work through. Clients are not really making decisions. You know, people are nervous about the economy, and you know, things are happening. There's some good deals out there. Actually, if you're an 85259, I saw 2 real good ones between $1 million and $2 million this morning, right by Mayo Clinic, Scottsdale. So if you're looking in that area, let me know. I saw 2 real good ones this morning. But yeah, you know, there's like your industry. You know what's going on. There's an unspoken word, I guess, is what I want to say. And everybody's keeping busy. It's a little bit more difficult to work through deals. You know, buyers think it's 2008 and sellers think it's 2022. And really, if you look at the numbers, we're a pretty normal market. It's rolling along, kind of like 2014, 2015. And we haven't had a normal market in the past few years. It's, you know, especially 21, 22. They were pretty crazy. But you can't sit there. If you can't test the market, if you are selling your house, you can't just put a sign in the front anymore. First of all, you have 30 days to get the most eyes on your property. And that's why we stick with Berkshire, because we get a lot of views, way more views than other brokers. But you can't just what's the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You can't just stick a sign, and you've got to work with an agent or a broker who's got a big network, who's going to pick up the phone and make calls, who's going to actively promote your listing. So that makes a difference. I think we're going to see a lot of people exiting the industry because it was easy to sell real estate the past few years. You know, you just put a sign in the front yard and get multiple offers. Just got to work a little bit harder right now. So anyway, it was easy to make money when money was free. Now, you know, you got to think about it. But don't focus on the interest rates. We'll tend to talk about that when we hit the economy. If you are ready, willing, and able to buy, let's look for something. Let's find something. And the biggest thing is communication. You know, I always say I'm not in the sales business. I'm in the service business. I'm here to help you, and I can't read your mind. You know, we've got to communicate and talk. I have a good idea of what most people are looking for, most people who call me. But, you know, we really have to communicate and know what's out there. What do you see on the Zillows and Redfin? That's not necessarily there, especially with AI. The more automation and AI we see, I feel like the more clients need me to tell them the truth. And you know, put it on paper. They were getting near, heading into summer here, some sellers are getting tired. So what better time? Let's prove your point. What's the property worth to you? Let's put it on paper, make an offer, and negotiate. You know, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So, you know, we have 750 agents in Arizona with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Arizona Properties. 750, yeah. So it's a big network. We've got lots of emails, lots of communication going on. So a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes. It's like my phone here. I'm dealing with I fixed the camera on the back of my phone. I fixed it because I think I can fix anything. but it's not perfect. So it's like buying and selling real estate. Anybody can buy and sell real estate, but you're always going to do better hiring an agent that you can work with. And if it's not me, let me know. We can refer you to somebody else who you might work with better. I have no problem with that. So, but the biggest thing is communication. And is it a good time to buy or sell? That really depends on you. It's your situation. Every deal is different. Commercial, I've got mixed feelings about the commercial side. Development, there's a lot of development going on in Scottsdale. And I hate to say it, but I'm hearing people that are coming from other areas. We all live in Arizona because we have the beautiful skies, the beautiful desert, beautiful mountain views. That northeast corner of 101, they're putting a 14-story, Bell in Scottsdale Road, a 14-story apartment building. And I don't know if you've driven through there lately, but I'm hearing from clients they either want to go way north Scottsdale, or they want to go to Chandler, Goodyear, or they actually a lot of them want to go out to Mesa, Apache Junction. It's beautiful out there. So I'm all for responsible development, but commercial, commercial. There's a lot of building going on. Let's see, Carefree just approved. I don't think they broke ground yet. A 24-acre retail development on the corner of Carefree Highway and Cave Creek Road. So that's been a long process. And what's interesting, what I want to point out about that is that land was useless. It's got a big wash going through it. Well, whoever negotiated the deal did a great job. They were getting a huge tax credit from the town of Carefree to pay to develop and reroute that wash so they can make their numbers work. So there's always, what I was going to say is, there's always a solution to a piece of land. We've been working on a lot of land lately. We're trying to piece some land together out in Tonopah, 250 acres down by I-8. That's going to be a good one. But there's always a solution to every problem, especially in commercial. And another thing I want to say, call me. I had a referral, and I got a couple texts this week. People looking for 600 and 2,000 square foot commercial properties. Well, they don't tell me the zoning or anything. So you really got to pick up the phone. Commercial can get pretty complicated, and that's why we like it. The commercial, it's all about the numbers and making it happen, and that takes us over to the residential. Makes that side just so much easier. But Axum Project, they're moving forward. Did you know it's 1,900 apartment units? It's the largest apartment project in the state of Arizona ever. Banner Health broke ground along the 101 and the northeast corner of 101 there. Apex Motor Club, this is a fun one, down south of Phoenix. They're putting $30 million. They're putting garage condos in there and working on a second track. So that's a neat place. If you've never been down to Apex Motorsports, go check it out. It's pretty neat. But I want to mention real quick, I said we've been working on a lot of land deals. Got a call or just a notification in our office this week. Somebody called and tried to get an agent to list a property that they don't own. Thankfully, the agent caught it. It's there's a lot of fraud out there, so you really have to work with your title company, work with your title agents. We've got a couple that we work with that are awesome, and know what you're doing. You can't just go through Craigslist. Does anybody use Craigslist anymore and purchase a piece of property? There's a lot of fraud out there. You really have to know what you're doing. Light industrial still hot. We need about 2,000 square foot lease around Deer Valley Airport. It's tough to find. So let me know if you have that. I need that. Commercial real estate's kind of an old boys club. I don't like to say that, but it is. It's a lot of things are held tight to the chest, and the deals happen, off market. And so give us a call. You just kind of gotta have your network and know what's going on the commercial side. But there's still a lot of businesses coming here, and people need a place to live and a place to work. So we're going to talk about the economy now. Everybody's giving Jerome Powell a hard time. Talking about Jerome Powell, the Fed funds needs to cut rates. Well, go on my YouTube channel. I did a pretty good video on it. The Fed funds sets a target range. Federal Reserve controls monetary policy. Their concern is the labor market and keeping inflation under control. Who said it? Logan Matsushima mentioned it too. That the Fed's not there to provide cheap financing. But, there's no reason to cut rates right now. There's too much debt out there, and there's too much of a risk for inflation. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Do you realize September 2024, the Fed started cutting rates? Fed funds rate is 100 basis points. That's 1% lower than it was 1 year ago. Well, mortgage rates are almost 1% higher. So when you hear all the noise about the Fed cutting rates, that really, I almost want to say it has nothing to do with you. That's an overnight rate between banks. The 10-year Treasury is where the common people, where businesses, that's the rates that kind of everything is based off. The Fed funds rate is just a borrowing window between banks and the federal government. So when people call for the Fed to cut rates, what's his name? Bill Pulte. He's the director of the Housing Authority, the Federal Housing Authority. The guy needs to go back to school and take Econ 101. He has no clue what he's talking about, or he's just playing the political game, which is, you can't believe anything you hear on the news anymore. But anyway, we've got low unemployment rate, 4.2% unemployment. GDP growth, 1.5% to 2% right now. Labor participation is good. Wage growth is good. So there's really no reason to cut rates. Matt Ishibi of the United Wholesale Mortgage, he's the largest mortgage wholesaler in the country. He says they're busy. They're writing a lot of loans. And if you look back, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate right now, what's it, 6.875, just below 7%? That's actually lower than the average over the last 50 years. Yes, housing has gotten more expensive, but you have more opportunities out there. So, don't get caught up in the noise and everything about interest rates. It doesn't affect you as much. What you want to look at, can you afford this payment every month? That's what you want. And you know what? Everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're not going to necessarily love that first property, but it gets you in the market. And as I say, all ships rise with the tide. All ships fall with the tide. Maybe that's something. But stick to what you can afford. Just get in the market and, capitalize. If you don't, prices are only going to go up. What do they say? The best time to buy real estate is 10 years ago. So, Oh, it is what it is. So anyway, remember, asking price is just an asking price. Let's communicate. Let's put it on paper. Let's negotiate. That's what I heard last night at the broker open. A lot of people are afraid to pick up the phone and have a conversation, and it doesn't do anybody any good. It doesn't get us anywhere. So pick up the phone. Let's work together. I'm on your side. So if we can make a case for what the property is worth to you, let's put an offer in. And it's got to be on paper. I got a few this week too on a property. Just verbal offers, they don't mean anything to me. So because I know that they're not going to close the deal, but put it on paper and let's have a discussion. Anyway, my job is to facilitate, educate, and advise. Get you where you need to be. And like I said, I'm not a salesman. I'm here as a service to provide you just a little different mindset. But let me know how I can help. 203-733-5877. And we're here. Give me a shout. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.